of history are written by those who claim victory, controlling minds for 2,000 years, kept us in line by stoking our fears. No longer will we hide who we are. We're stronger together by far. We are witches, we shall rise from the earth into the skies. Unite.
Hello, everyone. Good evening and good day on the other side of the earth here. Today, we are having Perth Paranormal from Australia, which is like 13 hours away. So, thank you, ladies, for getting up early and having your coffee and come and join us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. I'm very excited.
Yeah, thank you.
We're all excited to have you here. Tonight, my co-host will be the handsome Tobias, my spirit brother and friend. Medium Red is out of state right now with the infamous Cindy Gaza and getting her certified and everything. So she'll be back with us next month. So, but now, oh my gosh, Tobias, look all these beautiful ladies you have with you. My goodness.
Yeah, I'm surrounded by beauty, so I'm not complaining. Love the ladies.
Oh, wow. Yeah, my husband says it's unfair, Tobias. It shouldn't be this way. So, ladies, how long have you been a paranormal team and who found the team?
So it would have been about 2 years now, I'd say, or just over 2 years. And it was myself and somebody else that founded, that's no longer with the group, but we founded the group about 2 years ago and was lucky enough to just connect with some really amazing team members and just have had a great 2-year run, really. Just love it.
Wow. So are you our relatives or friends?
So when we first started this, so Kaz and Anna, mother and daughter, Shelley and I are not related. None of the rest of us are related. We just met basically when we went out because we were looking to start a team, and we went out and we just really clicked, and we've just been together ever since. Just a really strong group. Yeah.
Wow. For 2
But a
years.
bit in the family for Karen and Anna. So obviously, they do a lot of similar stuff. So
Yeah.
it's really cool having a mother and daughter team.
And though. So
Yeah,
I'm sorry. So who is a mediumship? Who is a research fielder? What are your positions on the team? Or do you have any?
We're a mixed bunch, yeah, but obviously, we have our strengths and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I do a lot of the research. I do a lot of the planning is all what I do. So all of the kind of like technical side of things and the kind of meeting with locations and the planning of our tours or our investigations is all done that way. And Shelley is like the tech whiz person that does all the website work and all the graphics and all of that kind of thing, that she's amazing at that. Anna is our social media person who's just brilliant at that sort of stuff, because I'm not. I've only ever been on Facebook. I'm not on anything else. I'm just not that sort of person. And Karen does all the media and the podcasts and that kind of, like the connection and responding to messages, and then, like on our social media, and then I do the emails and stuff like that. So, and then we do everything else together. So we each have kind of our strengths, but really anybody can do anything, really. It's that kind of a group.
Cool. That is really cool. If you
Anna
go ahead.
Anna and I are both sensitive, so we're highly intuitive.
Oh yeah,
and,
sorry, that part's kind of important.
Yeah, that part. Oh, that's the important
A
bit.
little bit.
Sorry, yeah, and that small detail.
Yeah, so Anna's actually started developing. Her abilities are really starting to come to the fore now. She's in that age group when things do start to develop. And I know Shelley down there is very good on reading auras, and she's very good at finding attachments, and she's really good. She's got those abilities as well. And even Susie, who's never reckoned that she's had abilities, is actually coming into the fore now. She's hearing and seeing things, and she doesn't really believe it, but it's happening, and we can't convince her. She needs to get a little bit more education on that side. So that's where
even though it's like right obviously in my face, but hey, you know.
Well, Susie, I can relate to that too, because there's sometimes my abilities just kind of come and go, and I don't know why. I really can't explain it. I don't do anything different. I think it's just when somebody wants to talk to me or whisper to me, they do it. So I really can't explain why.
Hear a lot more than I see things. So they might see things, and I just will be not. I mean, sometimes, but not always. But mainly, I can certainly like the disembodied voices, and I was getting a lot of voices at home when I was trying to get to sleep, and I still think I hear voices sometimes when I'm trying to get to sleep. But then you just second guess yourself and stuff like that. But recently, I mean, they do lecture me a lot, because I do say keep an open mind, but I'd also say, like, when it's so obviously in front of you, it's crazy to be like it's not. And that has happened quite a few times, and still sometimes I'll doubt it a lot. Not doubt the afterlife, not doubt that there's dead people, but doubt my own intuition, shall we say, rather than me thinking I'm just making it up, or so very often it will go to them for validation. So I might have an idea. Recently we were at a location where we were in the room, and down the corridor I'd got this image of a man standing there just watching us from the corridor. Not like I didn't see it, but in my mind I had this image of this person that was standing there, and I'd automatically have to ask them, is there somebody else in the room? I don't trust my own ability. And then Shelley saw him. She actually saw him standing there. So I think the more you do it, but it's not natural for me. Like I wasn't born seeing or hearing things. So, the more I've done it as I've got an adult, the more it tends to happen. And it's very new for me. Yeah.
I can really understand that a lot, because I'm in the same boat as you. That's how it is with me too. So I can really relate to that a lot. I bet Tobias can too as well. He also does Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. So
I love that cat.
He has a team too.
Yeah, I love it.
Working on it. Yeah, I can relate, because I discovered inadvertently doing all my personal workings as well that I wasn't born with it like Susie or Chrissy either. And so I've developed it, and it's kind of like where Chrissy and Susie is at. It'll come and go. But thankfully I found close enough friends who can confirm it for me. So that helps, but it's still weird because you wonder.
Yeah. You don't want to come across as being a little bit,
Yeah.
And you can get caught up, so many people can get caught up. I mean, it doesn't tend to happen with us, but when you're in a really creepy location, which sometimes, it is creepy, and you've got environmental factors that can affect people's perception, and so you don't always want to be the one to be like, I think this,
Yes,
but I think the more that you
do.
Well, with you guys, but with you guys, but it's really good, because it also means that they can either validate or be like, no, Karen will tell you if it's not, for example, like, I don't really buy that, or
Well, that's
and,
good
and
that you
that's
help
with
each other out.
teamwork. Yeah, it's that accountability as well in keeping things genuine, in keeping things ethical, and that kind of thing. Because we don't use gimmicks. We're the most boring. We often joke we'll be the most boring YouTube channel on the planet, right? Because there was a video of a haunted house where we were at a haunted house and I'm drinking tea and you hear this man talk from behind me that's a disembodied voice.
Mhm.
And I just turn around on the video and I'm like, oh, I just heard a voice. And then I just go back to drinking my tea. Like it's perfectly normal. And that's how boring our group would be because we're just pretty non-reactive to things. And yeah.
But have you ever come across with a lot of people that are skeptic that you say, hey, listen to this, and they be like, they try to debunk it for themselves? Because I know
Oh,
it's a lot of teams that have people who's always skeptics, who's always like, oh, that didn't happen. They debunk it. And then you kind of like, but it did happen, right?
yeah. I've got to be careful because they might watch this. But I did have a friend's husband come with me, and Anna. I'm going to tell this story because it was quite funny. We were at an abandoned hospital, so there's nobody in the buildings, and Anna can probably tell the story better. Anna and this particular gentleman, who's really sweet, by the way, but saw a figure cross the window inside the building. And there's nothing that would convince him that's what it was. Nothing that would convince him, even when he heard a voice from right behind him, nothing would convince him. And then you get those people that come in that genuinely are skeptical, and that's not a bad thing. But you've got to be a bit careful with that because you can't go into a haunted pub, for an example. These three will know what I'm talking about, and be like, I don't believe in ghosts and I think this is silly.
Mm-hmm.
Because whether you believed it or not, you don't really want to take the chance that there's, some dead people that are standing there saying, okay, you're a bit of fun now. Let's, and we've had that on tours where recently one of the women who was a skeptic and was voicing that, was actually pushed against a wall and she came down just shaking, because she was very vocal with it. And I assume that the dead person involved in that, who's not very pleasant, was just like, okay, let's have some fun, But generally, we're really lucky. Anybody else want to jump in on that one? Because you do a lot of groups individually, so I don't know how you guys deal with that.
I think one of the problems nowadays, though, is you've got so much on telly and YouTube where it's dramatized, and people think every time you're going to go somewhere, you're going to have all this activity happen. And sometimes it's literally just a knock or something. And people aren't very happy with that. And it doesn't to them prove that there's something.
Oh, yes. I know over here in the United States, we have so many paranormal shows that it's kind of sickening to watch because you have some of these people, teams, that will be very disrespectful of the spirits. They don't take in consideration about who those spirits were. It's like there's somebody's ancestors. They got heritage, and everything. I mean, so to yell at somebody like knock 3 times or drop that phone off the floor or something, it's just like it's very disrespectful. So, and I'm sure you guys are like, yeah, we know what what you're talking about because I know you probably don't do that. And
one of the ways that I work with when we go into places is because I use my body as a barometer. I feel a lot of stuff and I can sense stuff. So when I find things, I will actually get the participants to do the same thing. I make them actually tune into what they're feeling, whether they use the environment, whether they use psychometry by touching something like a stone wall or something. And quite a few people actually do have the abilities, and when you actually direct them so they can tune in, there may not be any flashing lights or EMF spikes, but they can actually go into the environment around them and actually pick up what's going on. And I find that quite fascinating. I work a lot with energy. I believe a lot in the energy, how we're linked through energetic.
because spirit is energy. no matter if it's living or deceased. It is energy. So that is really good.
We
Do you
have
have
very
any TV shows over there that you just like, oh, I can't watch this, or those that you do watch?
We like to be polite. We like to be respectful and not judge.
Right.
yes is the answer to that. And
Keep our opinions to ourselves, hey?
yeah, but I mean, there is, we obviously have a way of doing things, and like we don't really put out a lot of our investigations. We'll just do like evidence or a lot of written stories. I like to write, and we have very strict rules for people that come on tour with us, in regards to behaviors. If you start being disrespectful, if you start provoking, you've got to think about trigger objects, trying not to, and we don't always get it right. There's a location that we're going to go back to soon, and I've now got to go back and apologize. Not that I did anything wrong, but unfortunately the dead person, it was at a courthouse, and we were just kind of like running a fun trial for the guests. And unfortunately the dead magistrate there isn't very happy with that, right? He's from 1850s, and he's not happy because I assume that he's kind of like, my job was very serious and I did this great job, so now I'm going to go back, have a chat with him, didn't mean it the way that it came across, and maybe focus more on the history as opposed to kind of like having a little bit of fun with guests. But we try to stay away from toxic groups. We do have toxic groups. We try to stay away from those that we don't find to be particularly genuine. We try to stay away from groups where we don't align with the values that our group has. We don't go after them. We don't comment publicly on them. We don't get into anything with them, even if they were to try to do that. We take a better path, we'd like to think, in respect to that. And like I say, energy attracts like energy, talking about energy, right? And so we have aligned ourselves with groups that are different to us but have the same values, and I think that's really important when you go into location to location to location. It's a bit of a balance, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, kudos to you, and I love that you're willing to go back and apologize.
I thought it was so much fun, but he unfortunately did not. And he was screaming
not like
Karen,
you.
telling Karen to tell me to shut up. And so, I've got to remember, we forget sometimes that they're just watching. And although it was fun for us, we were basically doing, you had stolen something and we put him on trial. But obviously, he didn't like that. And out of respect, I've got to change the way that I do that, because I'm coming into his environment, and I don't want to upset him any more than I would want to upset a living person. And, boundaries, accountability.
Yeah, I think you're the first person who actually said anything like that. And I have done a lot of paranormal teams, from the UK to United States. And you're actually, Susie, the first one that said I would go back and apologize, because a lot of them hasn't really said that, that they would do that. And I think that's beautiful. That's great.
We just don't always get it right. Just like in life with normal people, we try our best, but sometimes we might make a mistake with a trigger object or he's pretty angry, I think, at me. He was not wanting me to go back. He was not a happy man. And it was my fault, At the end of the day, I tried something, it didn't work. And now I need to focus on kind of repairing that and talking more about his story. And, because he's got a remarkable story, actually. And I can see why he might have been upset by us kind of like having a little bit of fun with it. So as I would think as a good person, you would apologize if you did something wrong to a friend. We do the same if we need to.
That is great. Tobias, have you ever heard of anybody doing that over here?
I have not. I was actually going to comment after you on that, because that's kind of what my team was supposed to be all about, was the fact that we were talking about the things that we are displeased with around us in the community. And that's why I started the business, because a few years back with my wife, we tried, and then we realized what they were doing, and that didn't align with us. And I'm like you, trying to watch my words. But I made the mistake of like trying to go to battle with them. And so I entered this
Can
debate
be
and
hard.
I lost, and then so this is like started year 2, and so now I'm more aligned to where you guys are, where it's like I've said my piece and it was the wrong thing to do, so I went back and made the amends, and then this year we're focusing on building positive relationships, and then we're trying to bring messages like that, like paranormal investigating is more like ghost hunting, sadly. And even though a place might be reputed to be haunted, healthy skepticism should be used like you ladies do every single time, because it's about experiencing the paranormal for ourselves.
Yeah. And I think that, oh, sorry, maybe
Absolutely.
I also get told off by the dead for talking too much at very many of our locations. But what I was going to say is discernment. One of the biggest gifts that we can be given is discernment, and that's discernment with living people, and that is discernment with dead people. So we don't engage with the negative dead people. We don't do that. We don't engage with the no matter how much we would want to, and believe me, it's not easy to sometimes do that. But I think discernment, you've got to act on it. So when you find that somebody is toxic, or they're not aligned with your values, or they're not doing necessarily the right thing as you would see it, or they've done something to counteract what you're doing, because some people can be very much like that. Discernment means that you cut that off for your own peace. It means that, okay, now that I've seen what's going on, now that I've discerned that this is kind of the path that people are choosing, whether it be more negative or whatever it may be, that's it, and that's a lesson that I've been learning this year, is to cut it off. I spent too much time going back, trying to make things right, and now I'm pretty strict on I'm done. Protect my peace, protect the integrity of it, protect myself and the team as well,
That's
Right.
lovely.
Discernment.
Yeah, that's really lovely. I mean, that's
Don't always get it right though. Still learning.
Well, I'm proud of you for even doing that. Like I said, I really haven't heard that, and I think that's just amazing that you do that. And yeah, I can just go on and say how amazing you are, but I think your team already knows that.
I take after these guys, by the way, because the really good thing about a team is accountability, right? So if I don't do the right thing, or I don't say the right thing, I would expect somebody to call me out on it, right? I'd expect Karen to say something, or Anna, or Shelley, and they do. So there's that accountability across. Don't always necessarily want to hear it, but sometimes that's necessary.
Oh, that's good though. If you ever had a chance to come to the United States and investigate a location, which location would you ladies like to investigate?
There's so
I know
many.
my answer. Yeah.
Whoever wants to go
What do you
first.
think?
I would love to go to Waverley.
That's what I was.
That's the Waverley Hills Asylum, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's just what I've seen, and Anna's seen. Some of the stuff that they picked up there looks amazing. Yeah, I'd like to go there, but again, go in with respect, because the people who lived there and died there, they weren't always treated the best. So definitely go in with our ethos, and yeah, that would be amazing. But I don't want to go to the Conjuring House. That doesn't appeal to me.
How about Shelley? Do you have a place that you would like to come over the pond and investigate one day?
I'd like to see Lizzie Borden's house.
There you go. That's
Been
a good
there.
choice. Oh.
Just
Was
gotta
it
say
good?
it. It is good. We might have to talk offline about that. So I don't want to say too much. But yeah, it's good. I think I don't know if you ever came across of spirits just saying, "I had enough. I want to quit. I want to be released." Andrew is just he's like that. He's at the point where he's like, no more visitors. I'm done. So
I can imagine that's how, yeah, that would happen. I mean, we tend to take them for granted, and we treat them like an entertainment sometimes. Some of the groups, they're not there for our entertainment. They're just there. And we like to connect with them to find out what their story is. And, you know, maybe if they can partake with a little bit of information about the afterlife, we'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
But sometimes it does become about entertainment, and
Yeah.
we're not
And
big fans.
that's with Andrew with the entertainment, because the entertainment's right there in front of him every single day. They have a mannequin that they cover up with a sheet with some fake blood, with a toy axe below on the couch. He sees that every day. He sees
That's
his
horrific.
pictures, and these are real graphic pictures of his face. He
Yeah.
sees that every day. It's on the dining room table on display. So can you imagine being a spirit, seeing this mannequin that's supposed to be you, and seeing these pictures of your face? I mean,
Again, we're talking about the ethics of things like trigger objects, like going into a location where you've got the trauma of horrific murder, regardless of what people think somebody has done. It's horrific. It's not appropriate for us to use trigger objects like that.
right.
And so when we do the courthouse, we take a Bible as a trigger object, right? We don't take things like a cat of nine tails to a prison, or a knife to a stabbing area, or, you know, it's just again, this is ethics, right? What is ethical? And honestly, I would not be inclined to go to a place that doesn't practice ethics.
Yeah.
My
I don't
black
blame
sheep
you.
sitting down here. Because that's just horrific, being confronted every day with something like that. I don't. No, that doesn't align right with me.
No, it's just horrifying, actually. You know, and I'm living, so it's horrifying for me. I could just imagine the spirit. How about you, Anna? Which place would you like to go to?
Mum took it out of my mouth. I was going to say Waverly Hills as well.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
And you guys again?
I'm not far from there.
I expected Gettysburg to come up, but
That was going to be mine. That was going to be mine. I want to do the battlefields. I want to do the battlefields. I quite like some of the southern areas. I'd love to do, oh my gosh, just anything history related. When I was in Scotland, I did a lot of the battlefields there. I'm just fascinated by that. But the stories from Gettysburg is amazing. Even just like the audio, you know, hearing cannons and stuff like that. I would love to go to that place. Not sure if I'd be game to do Waverly though.
It's not bad. I've been there, and I know what you're saying about the sounds, because you can really pick up the sounds. You can pick up feeling pain in your arms and legs, like being shot at or stumbling, you know, falling. It's very, I mean, it's a good place to go. All of those places you have mentioned are great places to go. So if you ever get a chance to come over, you know, hey, hit us up. Tobias and I will show you the locations.
We might.
Yeah. Road trip.
I went a couple of
trip.
years ago, and I'm trying to convince Mum to come with me. But I went to New Orleans, and we went to a museum, and I was sitting in the church, and a bird came up to the window. I can't remember what it was called. I told Mum it's bright red.
It's a red cardinal.
That's the one. And then flying away, and then coming back and tapping on the glass. It wouldn't leave until I walked out. But at that time, I wasn't exploring my abilities as much. And Mum said, "Oh, you should have waited around. It would have had a message for you." Yeah.
They're supposed to. Yeah, they're supposed to be messengers from your loved ones. It's what they say over here. So I'm taking it's the same as over there too as well. And speaking of being over there, what are some of the locations that, if Tobias and I would go over there, what locations would you suggest for us to go to?
ooh,
It's very different over here than it would be in the US, in the fact that a lot of places are closed down here. You don't have the access, particularly I'd say Western Australia, which is where we are. We're in Perth. You don't have the access to a lot of locations. There are a lot of locations that won't allow teams in, or they've had teams in and now they won't let other teams in, or there's a lot of things that go on like that. Some of the locations that we have access to, I spent 8 months getting access to those locations. The courthouse, what I was talking to you about, 8 months it took me to get access to that location. A lot of our public places, you need licenses to go. So you need permission to do, if you're going to a graveyard, you need permission from the cemeteries board. If you're going to some of our national park places, you need Parks and Wildlife license to do it. A lot of our locations that used to allow investigations because of bad behavior, they don't anymore. Or you get groups that are, and again, I'm going to be careful with what I'm saying, but you get groups that kind of, because of their own issues, might badmouth other groups to locations. And then suddenly it's like, we're going to let you guys in, but everybody else isn't. So it's very difficult. But some of the locations that we have here is some of the pubs that we've been able to get access to have been amazing. Some of the courthouse, around Fremantle, which is our port town, there's a lot of great buildings that you can walk around and do that. But it's about permissions here. Like, it's just not a big done thing here. And we've got a lot of little towns. Remember, we're about 6 hours from anywhere here in Perth. It's massive distances. We're one of the most isolated cities in the world. And so some of the little towns, you can maybe book the town hall, for example. We did the Global Ghost Hunt there last year. This year, we're doing it at a pub that we go to. Other than that, honestly, I would say, like, over East, you would have a lot more options. Yeah.
I cannot believe that cemeteries, because I love cemeteries. That's probably one of my favorite places to go to, just to be alone, talk to the spirits, wipe off the tombstone for, respect. And I think Tobias, you're about the same way, because you love cemeteries too.
I do. My wife Fonda just loves the cemeteries, and her reasoning is simple because the dead don't talk back, and so she loves how peaceful and beautiful they can be. And we do the same thing. We'll brush off a tombstone, or you know, we'll give respect to a fallen infant or something. And two, you get the history, and every now and then you'll catch a cardinal. It's just a beautiful thing at a cemetery.
So we do, like, we've visited certain graves of the dead that we come across here in Perth, not to investigate, just if we happen to be there, we'll just go and see them, or I have a couple of times. But again, recently I worked out, like, all cemeteries, it doesn't matter if you're investigating, if it's paid, if it's anything, any activity, if you're not visiting a grave, you need to apply to the cemeteries board. And you get groups doing that, right? They're going to these things and they're putting it online. And then you've got an issue with, when you do approach them and say, we want to do that, they're just like, no, we're not going to allow it now because, of what's been done before. And then you get kind of like the high horse about, we want, everybody should be getting permissions, and which is a big thing over here. And then they don't, right? But we don't get involved in that. So here is very limited. Over East, they've got access to old monasteries. They have nunneries. They have all sorts of things. But also, you've got to be a bit careful, because we do have, like, the Aboriginal history, 40,000 years of that. And that is completely different to colonial history, which is like 1832 to now. So again, how you would deal with the difference in that culturally is very different. How you would navigate the dead from one side to the other.
Right.
It's just very different to the US, where you can just pay to go to places, I think, and stuff like that. Yeah, we don't. It's hard here.
Wow.
It's getting there here because of
Yeah.
what we're discussing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It
can
is.
see it going where you guys are at eventually if they don't calm down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when you go on an investigation, um, it's not all fun. It can be dangerous as well. Um, for anybody that's in the audience who would like to know about what you think about you doing an investigation, what would you tell somebody? Go ahead and do it. Be aware of this and that. What would you tell them for your advice?
I'll leave that one to Karen or not. That's a
Thank
Karen
you.
question.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, I was a bit zoned out then. What am I answering?
What would you tell people that are looking at us investigating, as in like the dangers of it? Should they do it? Why would you do it? How would you do it? What would your advice be to somebody that came up and said, "Oh, I love what you do," or,
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, you could answer that, Susie. Well, uh, yeah. Well, it's like anything. If somebody came and talked to me and they're going out and they're going to buy equipment and they're going to go do this, that, and the other, then I would probably say to them that they really need to be aware of interacting with other dimensions firstly before they go running in there about protecting themselves. Okay, well, protect yourself. They need to be aware of types of protection that we don't know when we're dealing with dimensions or other times. We don't know what we're actually dealing with. So I'm one of the people in the group who doesn't believe in demons. I don't come from a religious background. I do, but I don't practice. But I say to people, we have all sorts of people alive at the moment. We have the really, high vibrational people that do the good for the world. And then we have the murderers, the rapists, the rest of it. And that's the same in the spirit world. We have high vibrational spirits, the ones that are fully crossed. They don't mean us any harm. They'll interact with us. They'll give us the information and they'll go back to wherever it is. But you'll also get those ones who are on what are called bottom feeders. And they're really low energy types. And they're the ones I think you would associate with if you believe in demons, that sort of thing. They're the ones that will be spiteful. They're the ones that may attach to you. So first of all, learn protection. Learn how to ask permission to going into a building through the spirits. Don't just barge into someone's home and expect them to accept you and welcome you in. We use equipment. I use my body a lot, like I said, as a barometer, but we use equipment. So you don't need expensive equipment. A cheap voice recorder will pick you up some EVPs. In an EF K2 meter, which will pick up EMF spikes if you're looking for the proof. Yeah. So looking at the equipment, don't go and spend a whole heap of money. Research where you're going. Make sure that you can go in there legally. And if not, then find the permissions and make sure you tell someone where you're going. And at the end of an investigation, make sure that you then remove anything that might have come home with you, whether it's attached to your equipment, attached to you or your car. Even we did have, when we were driving away from one investigation, the driver actually saw a face in the back of his car. So you can take things home in your cars as well. So so that's what I would say. Make sure you know what you're doing. Don't think that you can just go in and it's all going to be okay. And never provoke. Never provoke. There's something we don't do. We don't believe in that, because if I came into your house and shouted at you, "Hey, I'm here. Get out here now. I want to see you. Give me this." What are you going to say? Yeah. I'm not going to be happy.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Has
So
there
that's what I said.
Has there ever been a case or investigation that you're just like, oh my God, why am I doing here? It's just kind of, it was in a shock. It's like, okay, I don't know if I can do this or not. I have to go back out or something. Have you ever been on a case like that?
I think we've all had areas in different investigations where we've had to leave. I got highly affected in one of the investigations where I was literally trying not to vomit. It was horrible. It was just felt so I just had to walk away from this spot. But I think everybody gets it, and we just move away. But we tell them we're not dealing with it. We shut it down. We're not interested in that side. Leave us alone. Back off. And then we remove ourselves from the situation as well. So yeah.
And Sheila, you was there shaking your head. So you apparently have a story to tell.
Yeah, we did a private investigation down in Rockingham, which is a coastal town here. Can't divulge too much about it because it wasn't obviously public. It was a private investigation. But that was a very intense area, and we had a lot going on. And I think all of us at one stage had to remove ourselves from the situation because we were getting things coming in from everywhere. So we were getting domestic violence, we were getting murders, we were getting the Indigenous come through. Like there was a little bit of everything coming through in this one spot. So yeah, it was very intense, and I'm pretty sure that all of us had to take some time out during that investigation. And we went, I think it was about 3.5, 4 hours we did down there. So it was a pretty long investigation too.
Wow. How about you, Anna?
Yes, we do.
Sorry, Mum's on her eye watch.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
I've got to update my husband's shopping list. Sorry.
That's okay.
So probably more recently with my abilities coming through, I've taken on to the spirits can show me whatever they want, and sometimes they can come through me. And at one of the places that we go and do a tour, there's an area that we've recently discovered that there was something not very nice happen. And sorry.
That's okay. Come hi.
And basically it came through, and I was saying her last words. I was crying. Shelley was there. She saw, and the man who did the horrible thing to her, his words were also coming out through me. So basically it was like a live replay of what happened, all coming out through me. And that was very full on, so I had to step away and take time from that.
Wow. How about you, Susie?
I'm quite lucky in the fact that I don't get like the whole replays. I don't see what they see, and I don't necessarily always get the emotion of things. For me, there's only one place I won't go back here in Western Australia. That was again a bit of a mistake on Karen and I's part. We weren't intending on investigating a particular location. We went in there, we heard a man talking, a dead person talking, and we just happened to just be like, oh yeah, we'll talk without doing our protections. And whatever that was there, really made my life hell for about a week or so afterwards. It was awful, and that's one place I will never ever go back. And one of the investigations, and the only time that I've ever considered not going back, was the only place I've ever actually been physically harmed at a place, which is where we were getting mimicking. Don't know what that was. So we would hear our voices in the house even though it wasn't us. We've got us on recorder even though it's not us talking. And that was horrific. But I ended up getting it scratched at that location. And when I went out, Shelley had seen like it was trying to attach. And when I was like, I'm not doing this, you've got to get off, I had the most horrendous pain in all of my back. And I'm 46. I've been doing this since I was 17 years old. And in all of these years, I've never, ever been physically harmed. At this particular location, and that was after doing protections, I was, and that is one place I wouldn't, like, I had to go. Luckily, nothing followed us from that location, but again, I have to think, where is the limit? Because that's not something I'm bringing home to my family. I've got a 3-year-old daughter. I'm not playing with that. I'm not messing with whatever that is. And like I say, we all have different belief systems on what we think things are and stuff like that. But the truth is, this is why we're quite strict in not dealing with the negative unless we absolutely have to, and knowing limits. And that's the same with our guests. If you're a guest and you come with us, sometimes you have to remove somebody from a situation if they're, worked up or they're affected by something. But again, accountability within your group, right? If they see something's not quite right, then they'll say, you've got to move, you've got to get out of the area, you've got to do this. But I'm lucky in the fact I'm not like them. I don't see these horrendous replays, which I'm very thankful for. Until next week, you wait now. You say this doesn't happen, and then you just, they play with you sometimes a little bit. But we'll see. We're going back there on Sunday, so I should be careful what I say about not seeing replays, But anyway.
Don't manifest anything. So,
I know, right? I'm learning.
Any
questions? I have any questions for them? No, I had a comment after Kat's there because I like the way she explained that when you asked the question. I was going to say that was a really beautiful way that you put it, whether you believe in possession or not and how they work. And I just wanted to piggyback on that I agree with that because that's how I look at it too as well. Whatever they are, they seem to like to toy with us and make us their puppets. And so the way you described it was much more eloquent, though. So thank you for that.
No problem.
Let's see. I asked this question in another podcast, I think, recently. So I'll ask you ladies because it sparked some good conversation. What are your girls' opinions, or ladies, apologies, on shadow figures? And have each of you had a unique experience with one?
You haven't seen one behind me today, have
Not
you?
yet. I've been looking.
No. The last 2 podcasts we did, they all saw a shadow figure actually move behind me. I've got a gentleman that comes into my house. He's a dead person. He's not. I'm assuming. I'm assuming you're talking about. So we have some amazing photos that Karen took of a shadow figure, and it is an amazing photo. I'll have to send it through to you. At one of our locations, that's a dead person that presents as a shadow figure. So you will see it as a black shadow, and it's amazing, this photo, because there was nobody there when it was taken, and you can see a man walking, but it's pitch black, right? That's just a dead person. And again, we might disagree on this because we have different belief systems, even though we have the same ethics. Now, only once have I ever come across what I am not overly convinced was a dead person that I think, and this was in the UK, is something else that presented as a black shadow figure. And that was pitch black. This isn't just like a black moving mass. This was pitch black. But the difference between that and just normal dead people that present, and Karen might have a different opinion because they don't necessarily believe in non-human things, right? Some people don't. I personally do, but they don't. So they'll have a different perspective. But the feeling was different. It was absolute fear. And I've only ever come across that once. Everything else has always been a dead person where you don't get that feeling necessarily. So to me, that was the only time where I thought that maybe this isn't a dead person I'm dealing with, it's something else, because the feeling was different. I can't explain it. It's very difficult to explain what I mean, but it was, I've got to get away. I've got to get out. I've got to get away from whatever this thing is. This thing wasn't, it was just watching.
Mum.
Whereas dead people often present
Can you tell
as
them I'm
shadow figures.
backstage? Oh, there you go.
I can't hear anybody.
Oh, see, it might be my shadow friend here that might be playing with the audio.
Susie?
Yeah.
I
Can you hear me?
Hear any of what you said. I think your black shadow man might have interfered with the
I know. I was going to
electronics.
say, sometimes, if we're talking, he might. We think he's a friend from a ghost from a different location that just comes in and says hello, but he likes to appear on camera.
Yeah.
Sorry, what I was saying is that the two things.
on.
Shadow people are usually dead people. Like I see dead people that present as shadow people. The only time that I haven't was the feeling was different. The feeling was scared, dread,
type?
got to get out of there. And that was in the UK, not here. Is he still playing with the audio? Shall we just say, just in case, if this is any of the dead people that like to visit in my house, can you stop playing with the audio, please? I would much appreciate it. Thank
Sorry,
you.
me and Mum both can't hear anyone.
Oh, so it's you. It's not. Yeah.
Okay, it might be coming from. Let me see. Hang on.
Shelley's fault.
Let me just put it in the private chat here.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
There. Here we go. Yeah, we can hear.
You're muted, Anna.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
No. Can't
Let me see if I
hear
can
anything.
unmute you. There you go. Can you hear?
Hello? Testing.
Can't hear anything?
That's
I can
Shelley's
hear you
fault. She
guys.
logged off.
No.
She is muted. That is odd.
So you might have to log all the way off to click back in again. You can do that. Yeah, just leave the back. That by
Yeah, I got
the link that we gave you guys. Sometimes that would do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll do it together.
Okay.
So just while they're doing
Spirit
that,
How do you do
is
that?
like, oh no, you ain't gonna talk about
What
me.
is that?
so yeah, we think he's from one of our pubs that we're doing the Global Ghost Hunt. I was in a really bad accident about 4 weeks ago, so I've got broken shoulder and upper arm and a broken kneecap. And ever since then, he's been visiting. He's not an attachment. He's just a visitor that just pops in to see how I am and stuff like that. But very often you'll see him behind me when I'm on camera. But I personally think there are shadow people that are non-human and shadow people that are mainly human. I think the majority, 99% of the time, it's human. But like I say, I did have that one experience where, and the thing at that location I was telling you here that followed me home, and the mimicking thing, I'm not convinced was human at all. But, Karen and some of the others would feel differently because they don't believe in non-human things, as she explained. So it's just different.
I
mean, what do you guys think?
I do believe that people do conjure things, because I believe that you can use your mind and anything that's with you to actually bring into existence things that wouldn't normally exist, and that we have seen that at a certain location where something
the
we
mimicking
believe
thing,
has been conjured. But I don't believe as in like there's demons as such, like Satan sitting in hell waiting for you with his tripod, just and all that. But I do believe in things can be conjured, but that's done by the human mind, again through energy, things we will and imagine, and that some of these things can be quite dangerous and can quite upset people's lives. So although I don't believe in the demons, I do believe in man-made conjured things, if that makes sense.
Awesome. I just love the way you
That's
articulate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She's very good at it.
Same here. Same here. Well, it's been great talking to you, ladies. I love the way you talk about your team, about each other. You're really close knit. It seems like you got your part of the expression, your shit together. So that's good. That's like I was saying before. That's some of the things you have said. Some paranormal teams from the U.S. has never said that, or even the UK that we have experienced. So yeah, it's been a delight to hear something fresh from you guys, very much so. And Tobias, do you have anything else to say?
I was just going to piggyback something like that. You guys have been truly fascinating and enlightening, and finding people that have similarities in what we do is exciting actually, because if there's a crew of you over there, that means there's got to be others over here too and around you. So here's
Yeah,
to
there
hoping
is.
you
We have
you
some
guys.
great teams here in Perth. Great teams. And over East. You just have to align with the right ones.
Seems to be all about, and
Yeah.
all of you have
Well, you
been
guys
nothing
got
but
it going
stellar.
on.
I think we are the sum of our parts, we've just been lucky to have met people that we may have slightly different ways of looking at things, but our belief system, our ethics, the way that we work have just been brought together, and that is such a privilege and a blessing, because it's not always easy to find people that are on the same page and that can hold you accountable and that can guide you through something or assist you with something or kind of ground you. Grounding is really important, particularly for me, because my mind goes 100 miles an hour, which is why I always get told off for talking too much at locations. And, we're learning just like everyone else. So it's been a real privilege to talk to you. And we would love for you to come over. You would be our guest. We would love that.
Thank you. It's on the list. We gotta get
Oh, I would love it
passports.
too.
Thank you.
We have to drag our partners along and have a double date, more or less, on a paranormal investigation. That would be fun.
It would be.
Maybe I'll
Much
do a
fun.
video
But
of my little conversation with my magistrate when I go down there. Maybe I'll film it and kind of show you how we navigate that when we've made mistakes. Because I think that's a really important thing to get out there, is that you're not perfect. You're human. You make mistakes just like everyone else. And sometimes you have to do the right thing ethically. Sometimes you've got to get rid of your ego, get rid of your pride, and try to do the right thing or the next right thing, So yeah, maybe I'll video that and show my vulnerability, and what we do when we do things wrong. Yeah.
hey, we would love to have you ladies back on. When you have something new, you want to show us, Shohad's actually done for some of the teams that just don't really know for sure how to do it, but it seems like you guys already know. So that'd be great. And I'm sure that my co-host, Medium Red, which when she comes back, she would love to hear it, because she's on 2 paranormal teams. Tobias, he's on 1, and we would just love to hear everything that goes on in the future. So if you'd like to come back, I love for you guys to come back again. That'd be
Well,
great.
we are doing the global ghost hunt
And I'm
this
sure
year,
Tobias will be by my side.
which we'll be doing at one of our locations.
It'd be really something.
And we're also going to be doing the first Paracon in Western Australia, which we'll be doing in November, which is a new thing for our state. And so, there's lots of things going on.
November 29th. Yeah, November 29th.
November the 29th.
Looks like it's
yeah.
Yeah, you have different teams. You have guest speakers, vendors, authors, historians, researchers, workshops, demonstration. So, you definitely have to come back and tell us about that too, because that would be something that's really be interest for us over
At
here
the
in the
very
United States,
haunted
because
town hall.
Yeah. We do Paracons and Para Unity, and some turns out well, some doesn't. It's a lot of bickering sometimes. I'm better than you, but I think that's what you get in most of paranormal investigation teams too, as well, just like you do everything else. But Not you
We
guys.
have
You guys think
discernment.
you guys got your act together. So
Yeah, so we are working with teams that haven't been showing things that aren't great. Those teams aren't necessarily involved in Paracon because, again, you want energy to attract the right energy. We want positivity. We want all of that. So the teams that we actually have, we know very well, and some of them are new, but they are pretty much on the same page. And then we've got international teams. Some of them I know, some of them I don't, but I've followed them for a while. So we're hoping that it will be what it's supposed to be, and we try to protect it from those that may wish to derail it, is what I'll say.
that's
It's very
great.
difficult, yeah.
Yeah, I will be reaching out to you. I'll be reaching out to you guys in November and says, hey, come back on. Let us know what's happening. How did the Paracon turn out?
The
Any other
Global Ghost Hunt
investigations
is
you
in
want to tell us about? Because
October, yeah.
it's been really interesting. Yeah.
Thank you.
But
We'd love to
we
come back.
have to go. It's on top of the hour.
Cool.
Oh, and for co-hosting with me. And to everybody, subscribe, share, and like. Go down to their Facebook and their website that's scrolling across the screen. Hit them up. Until next time, blessings to all. And ladies, stay behind where we finish out everything and talk behind stage, okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Bye. Having some difficulties here.
I could start singing.